Hi, it's Jim Dodson, the Florida Bike Guy. So, how are we responding or reacting to this health crisis we find ourselves in? For my position, I don't think it's great. It helps us very much to be debating about why it's occurred or what could have been done differently to get us where we are today. I think for you and I, the people that are sort of living our lives every day in this period where we really have shut down our economy, I think we have to look at two things. There's a huge difference in how we respond to a situation. We can react, or we can actually thoughtfully respond. Uh, my view is that so many of us are caught in this reaction mode where our natural impulse, I think, as humans, is to be anxious, to be fearful, to be upset, is sort of where we're naturally hardwired to go, I think. I think many people sort of find themselves in that hardwired anxiety mode. It's really reinforced and fed more and more. If you get into the news cycle, it's nothing but negative news by and large. I've drawn so much peace in my own life, just disconnecting from the news. I stay abreast of what's going on by looking at the paper, but I'm not absorbing the constant flow of the discussion about this problem and the economic impact. And we know all that's happening. I don't need to be immersed in listening to it. So, look at our lives and kind of ask yourself, am I in that reactionary mode of anxiety, or I'd rather be in a thoughtful mode of response? And there's an enormous difference. We had no control over the events. We didn't invite this virus in. We have no control over when it's going to move through our society and what havoc it's going to wreak on the way. But we have control on sort of how we react to it. What's our frame of reference? What's our mode of responding to the events that we're going through? And I don't want to sugarcoat. Many people have dramatic issues they're dealing with. It's very, I can understand. You've been laid off, you've been furloughed, everything. We have all the uncertainty of bills and the things of life that we need to contend with. Those are a given. I understand that. We all have those issues that we're contending with together. But how do we respond personally? How do we respond deep in our spirit? And I would suggest that this is an opportunity. These events occur that give us the opportunity to look inwardly and decide, what is my response? How am I looking at my life? It's a time of reflection. It's a time to think about, what are the most important things in life? Who are the most important people in my life? What are the things in my life that give me peace? Am I filling my life with those things? What are the things that I feel bound by, that I'm struggling to rid myself of, or that bring me down? Let's identify those things, and how can we move past them during this time? What are those things that I can do in my life that helps someone else and help me at the same time, by encouraging a message of hope, a message of encouragement, simple acts that we can do to encourage one another? Those are the things I think that we should be looking at. This is not a really apt example. When my son was in high school, he was a basketball player, and he was injured really badly during a game one time, had a tremendous fracture of both the tibia and the fibula on the lower leg, and was hospitalized and had surgery and all that. So, bad thing. It was very angst producing. But at the end of the day, when that time passed, magnificent changes occurred as a result of that injury that changed our life as a family. We became much closer. Because at the time that occurred, our son was like 16 or 17 years old, was really at that time when he was starting to pull away, exert that independence, but it was pulling away in a way that wasn't helpful to the family dynamics. And all of that changed after that injury. So I think time gives us perspective sometimes. Look back on the, I want to say good things, the beneficial things that come out of bad, unwelcome events. And we're going to be in that same posture ourselves. At some point, when you go through this exercise and kind of look at our lives right now, what would I change? What holds you bound? Are there habits or things that we do in alcohol or food that are really holding us down? They're not healthy. The things that we need to change, how we spend our time, what we're watching on TV, how much TV we watch, how much time we're spending with those we love. Those are all things that really a good time for us to reflect on, because we have power now to make a decision about how we want to change our life and how positively our life will change when things get back to the new normal. I think we're going to have substantial changes in how we do a lot of things that will be the new normal. But businesses are going to open, airplanes are going to fly, people are going to take vacations, we're going to go back to work, we're going to go back in the stores. Those things are going to happen, and we're going to look back and reflect on it. And this is, I know here in our office, what we're doing is looking at everything we do in terms of client attraction, in terms of internal structures and systems that we have. What can we do to make those things better, to be more effective? This is a time to reflect and try to increase our ability to do that effectively, to increase our service and what have you. So I think look forward to that time when this period ends and the new normal sets in. We want to emerge from that into that period a different person, the person closer to that person we want to be. We make those changes now during this time of reflection, this time that we're sort of forced into quiet, into not going and being as busy and doing as many things, so that when the new normal arrives, we will gain a real sense of peace because we will now have more control over how we live our life. If we take that inventory now and try to consciously move through to make what we're doing now different moving forward, to make it better, to make it more aligned with where we want to be. For different people, it's going to be different things. Are you doing in your life what you're called to do? Are you doing the work that you're called to do? Is your faith life where you want it to be? Are you exercising and eating and doing those things that we sometimes think about on the first of the year, but lose focus of later on in the year? It's an opportunity to kind of reevaluate all those things and to look for those things that bring us peace and purpose. And helping others is probably one of the centerpieces of arriving at that place. So I think that this going through this exercise of evaluation will help each of us find peace, because it helps us exercise control. When we feel like we have control, we feel like our life is much more peaceful. And it's part of the overall response, I think, to this entire crisis we're going through. That let go of the fear. We're not going to acknowledge it. We're not going to let it control our lives. We're going to thoughtfully respond and do those things in our life that will make the other side look better, brighter, and happier for each one of us. I'd like to hear from you today. If there's something that I've touched on that you find is helpful, or you would like me to talk about some other topic that maybe you'd like to hear something about in this whole process as we wind through this COVID crisis. Until then, I'm Jim Dodson, the Florida Bike Guy. We'll talk again. Thank you. Bye.